please.
Question number 5, Honourable Phil Goff.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Defence. Why did he decide to source new training aircraft for the Royal New Zealand Air Force from Wichita, Kansas, rather than Hamilton, New Zealand, despite a 40-year relationship with the New Zealand company Pacific Aerospace?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Dr. Jonathan Coleman.
Mr. Speaker, after a detailed and lengthy assessment of the RNZAF's training needs, a robust tender process was entered into, reviewed by the Defence Management Board, MBIE officials and central agencies. The process was also externally audited by the McHale Group, and government procurement guidelines were followed. Beechcraft's tender matched all the RNZAF's training requirements while representing good value for money. The T6C has a proven track record, and over 850 of these aircraft are in service training pilots around the world, including for the US and NATO nations. The Auditor General's advice has previously been to go for proven off-the-shelf capability purchases, and this is what we've done. The Pacific Aerospace option did not fulfil the RNZAF's training needs and requirements, and did not include either a simulator or a training package. The Pacific Aerospace proposal was for an aircraft that has yet to be built, and furthermore, they did not provide any detailed costings. For all these reasons, we just could not go with the Pacific Aerospace proposal.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable Phil Goff.
Wouldn't the $100 million extra on top of what he would have paid for New Zealand-based aircraft have better been spent on repairing the damage that he has done by slashing New Zealand defence personnel by more than 1,000 or 12%? That really isn't value for money.
Mr. Speaker,
Dr. Jonathan
well, that $100 million he's talking about is not a saving, quite frankly. There were no detailed costings. They could not have put forward the package that fulfilled the NZDF's requirements at the price that we ended up paying for these aircraft. It's a bit like Labor saying that there was a saving by taking GST or refusing to take GST off fruit and vegetables and not having that first $5,000 tax-free. It's money that just does not exist in terms of a saving.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Supplementary question, the Honourable Phil Goff.
Isn't it correct that the industry that he is now disparaging, Pacific Aerospace, has performed brilliantly for the New Zealand Air Force for 40 years? And isn't it also correct that he'll be paying $2,000 an hour to train pilots on the American aircraft, which is 6 times as much as it would cost for the equivalent New Zealand aircraft, and that is the figures from the New Zealand aerospace industry?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Dr. Jonathan Coleman.
Yes and no.
Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Honourable Phil Goff.
What consideration did he give to the damage that his decision will do to the New Zealand aircraft industry's capacity to develop an innovative, high-value export sector, in line with what his colleague, Mr. Joyce, is saying the public sector should be doing by creating effective partnerships with the private sector here in New Zealand?
Honourable Dr.
Mr.
Jonathan
Speaker, look,
Coleman.
the facts of the case are that the NZDF had some very specific requirements laid out in the RFP, and Pacific Aerospace just could not meet them. They didn't have a simulator, they didn't have a training package, and they hadn't built an aircraft. And we have gone for a proven off-the-shelf solution. And I tell you, I challenge you, Phil Goff, to get up and say that you would have made a different decision, because I don't believe you would have.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure I should be answering questions, but New Zealand, the Labor Party would have supported New Zealand.
Order. I reminded members yesterday that when I rise to my feet, it's important that members then resume their seat. Does the member have a further supplementary question?
Further supplementary, Mr. Speaker.
Question, Honourable Phil Goff.
How many jobs? You ready to listen to the question?
I have given the member a supplementary question. Order. Supplementary question, the Honourable Phil Goff.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. How many jobs will be lost at Aeromotive Limited in Ohakea, and how many jobs and export earnings will be lost from Pacific Aerospace in Hamilton because of his decision, or hasn't he bothered to ask?
Honourable Jonathan
Mr
Coleman.
Speaker, as I've explained very clearly, we can't waste public money on an aircraft that hasn't been built, and they couldn't fulfil the requirements of the tender. So it's a really stupid clown question, Phil Goff.
Question number 6.